Hey guys, it's market update. So 150 to 250k was always my target for Bitcoin this cycle, and it still is. So I'll explain why in this video. This red box right here, and we're tracking towards it just like every other cycle. So for right now, Bitcoin's actually doing really well. So despite all of the FUD around there and everything that's going on, the conventional wisdom is when geopolitical events happen, when anything negative happens, Bitcoin sells off, right? Everyone just sells the Bitcoin, it goes lower. Right, and everyone comes out on the news and says, well, Bitcoin's 24/7 and you sell it first. That's not happening this time. So conventional wisdom is always something to fade, right? Eventually, because it's eventually going to get broken. We're seeing a kind of melt up, right? This is very choppy trade because you've got so much going on. This is the tariff tantrum that we had completely recovered. This actually looks like an inverse head and shoulders, to be honest, right? Which is obviously a bullish pattern. This shoulder, the average price here much higher than this shoulder. It's bullish price action, right? You can just read right through here like this. So we've actually turned this resistance, which was very clear resistance around that 100k level, now into support, right? So it's a very bullish price action, despite all the FUD. And yes, something can happen and it can drop us 20, 30% lower. Nonsense, irrelevant, doesn't matter. You're either buying this thing or you're not every single week. And it's outperforming everything else, and the market wants to go higher. And eventually, all the FUD and the short-term news cycle gets out the way, and the thing just re-rates. Now, that may happen next month, it may happen in 6 months' time, but I think it's still coming. And so that's what I'm in for, because this isn't the end of this cycle, in my opinion. Anyway, if you trade Bitcoin, go and click the link below in the description to Bybit. Make a deposit on there. They'll give you a deposit bonus to trade with, all the way up to $30,000. Whatever you deposit, they'll give you a deposit bonus. Just click that link, go through, sign up, make a deposit, and trade. Everything is actually noise, right? And the short-term news flow is designed to keep you distracted and poor. And the signal here is that Bitcoin, the most desirable money ever found or created, right, is fixed in supply, versus all of the other currencies that we're valuing it in. Of course it's going to go higher. Every other currency is designed to debase. Right? Bitcoin's very small inflation rate right now is being completely bought up by strategy and other buyers taken off the market. Right? And so the way you unlock supply is by upping the price and finding new pockets of sellers at specific prices. 100k is obviously a big level to find sellers, which is why we're here. But once that's exhausted, you move it higher. And so I think we just continue to go higher. Every single piece of FUD, we've just gone higher. This was the banking crisis, higher. This was election uncertainty, higher. This is the tariff tantrum, higher again, right? And we go higher and higher. And so the buyers coming in, we know they're coming in, and the only way they get Bitcoin is to move prices higher over time and get those new pockets. And you're seeing fiat currencies around the world debase right now. China is smashing new currency into their economy, right? So that's debasement. You're seeing the Swiss National Bank at 0% interest rates. Europe's cutting interest rates, right? They're in a huge cutting cycle right now. It's just the Fed. Too late, pal. He's always late, and good for him. I don't know why. That's his decision, but he'll get there eventually, and he'll cut rates a little bit and go a little bit softer, and that frees up money to come into other assets and up the risk curve, which pushes Bitcoin higher. That will be happening this year at some point, I presume. And so this is it. 150 to 250 is the top end of the range. When we get there, don't take any 20x leverage trades when Bitcoin's at 180k or anything like that, right? That's time to just relax, maybe take some profits if you need, slow down maybe on your purchases if you don't like buying this, right? I doubt we're going to get a huge crash. Look, if we go up to the absolute top of the range, 280, 300, then you could easily crash 50, 60% and just come down kind of to the trend rate for Bitcoin, right? If we don't get there, if we only get to 150, 180, maybe a smaller bear market next time. All irrelevant now. Just think about this is the target, right? And this is a 200-week moving average for Bitcoin, moving very slowly and upwards to the right as it always has done. And that's really my target, is dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin over the long term and just waiting for that growth to play out. See, the traditional wisdom and the conventional thinking is always wrong. Financial Times, yet again, just completely missing the mark. Absolute garbage paper. Gold leads major asset classes in 2025. What an absolute joke. Cherry picking one specific date is classic TradFi garbage. So look at Bitcoin versus other asset classes here. Like any real investor, you will regularly invest in the asset over time to average your price over that time and actually invest in the asset and not trade the price. right? So making any purchase weekly 1 year ago, 36% uplift for Bitcoin, outperforming gold, 23% for gold. If you look at 2 years ago, Bitcoin again, 105% change, so it's doubled in 2 years, only 44% for gold. If you look at 3 years ago, and gold's doing well, right? It's in the papers, it's in the Financial Times. Whoa, it must be doing well. 200% for Bitcoin, only 58% for gold over 3 years. And 4 years, again, obviously, Bitcoin, 190%, 65% for gold. Look, gold is not doing well. It's getting absolutely crushed. This is Bitcoin valued in gold, right? Just like the fiat currency chart, Bitcoin is destroying gold, and Bitcoin is almost at a new all-time high in gold terms. You can see the uptrend here, and we're looking to break out at some point, right? So maybe when the Fed turns, we don't know, but it will happen. Do not buy gold, okay? It is getting completely destroyed, just like every other asset class. Bitcoin is the only thing to buy here. It is the strongest, the most desirable, and it has this crazy return profile right now, which won't last forever. This is the trade of our generation. We have to get into it. I spend an insane amount of time looking at every single possible type of investment to beat inflation and make investment returns. Any asset class, fund, ETF, anything else. Go on any of those sites, BlackRock, Vanguard, anything else, and just look at the list of the absolute garbage that they try and sell you. You're looking at like real estate investment trusts with 2% dividend yield if you're lucky, and the total return's like 5-6%, or worldwide, MSCI World ETF fund, and the total return 8%, 1%, 1.5% dividend yield if you're lucky. You're not beating inflation. Inflation's 10% in the dollar and much worse than everything else. This is, res here in blue, this is from BlackRock, so real estate index. It's up, 35% in the last 5 years. Inflation's 50% or more? You've lost money. You're losing money in this asset class. Gold, apparently, according to the Financial Times, is the leader in all major asset classes in 2025. It's up. Look, it's done okay, right? It's probably gone up with inflation. And the S&P, well, that's just, the investable. It's S&P and NASDAQ are the only investable things. If you look at any ETF, the returns only come from ETFs where the top 10 holdings are the Mag 7 plus a few others. That's where all the returns are coming. So again, you have to invest in those if you're in the equity world, right? And equities are slowly bringing Bitcoin onto their balance sheet. It's not even close. What is the FT missing? They're missing this huge gap here. Bitcoin is the only investable thing right now. It's actually making investment returns. And Bitcoin up 10% this year, that is underneath its usual growth. So I'd be buying here, and I am buying here. I'm constantly buying Bitcoin. It's the best asset and it has the best growth. Look, the only two things that outperform are Mag 7 and Bitcoin. That's it. Gold is doing really great, but it still doesn't have the growth that you want from something like Bitcoin, right? All of this stuff that everyone will get you into is detritus. You're just wading through slop if you get anywhere near this stuff. Mag 7 and Bitcoin, that's it. These are the leaders. We know that. And Mag 7 is mature, and Bitcoin is the trade of our generation. You must have some, or all of it, as much as you can. If you're still young and you've got your career ahead of you and you think you're going to be working for 10, 15, 20 years or more, right? Do not get your head turned by yield or income or dividends or anything like that. All of that caps upside. All of that is not going to give you the best returns. Strategy, what are they doing, right? Follow what they're doing. They're selling fixed income instruments, which are garbage, right? Garbage investments, right? They're saying, we'll give you 10% a year. It's not actually 10%, it's $10, which is going to get debased every year. So they're paying $10 fixed, but the value of that each year is going to go down with inflation. But in any case, they are selling fixed income, they're selling garbage, and they're buying Bitcoin with the cash. That's what we should do if we are young and we think we're going to work for a while. We know we're going to have income, we know we can work. Do not go for fixed income, do not go for yield, do not go for safe dividends. None of that is going to get you returns. All of that is capping returns. You have to invest in the volatility. That's going to get you the capital gains, and that's going to make you outperform. Bitcoin is the outperforming asset still, and it's still so long to go with this asset. This is it. It's a trade of our generation. We've got to get in, right? We've got to be brave. If you want to trade on Bybit, down below is a deposit bonus. Whatever you deposit, they'll give you a deposit bonus to trade with all the way up to $30,000. A couple of other links down there to the crypto course as well. If you want to see how to invest in crypto, 300 videos in the crypto course and update it for free forever for existing members. I'm James, this is MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.